Greetings everyone, my name is Dominic and today you're tuning in to the Comic Book Report, where we review comic books and graphic novels so you can get an idea of what to read. And over this past weekend, I went out into the field for Free Comic Book Day 2024. And since this year, Free Comic Book Day coincided with May the 4th, or May the 4th be with you, the Star Wars Day, my wife and children came along as well. We had a grand old time. We ultimately stopped at two different locations. The first one had total vendors and kind of a street fair kind of vibe, and the other one was just at my local LCS, or local comic shop. Both venues were so fun, had great deals, great customer service, and were just a really fun time for all ages. Now, I did pick up some of the free comics, along with a few hardcover editions. My wife got some stickers, things like that. Anyway, I thought it'd be fun to just do a really quick video showcasing a couple of our stops, and then I'll transition over to the free books I picked up and the couple purchases I made today. At any rate, it's a bit of a different video, but I hope you'll come along. Let's get started. Okay, in our first stop of the day, we went ahead and made the drive into the city for Southern California Comics. And I went ahead and got into line about 20 to 30 minutes prior to when they opened up, but the line, as you can see, was already quite impressive. In fact, I was kind of wrapping around a corner, and by the time we actually started the event, the line went all the way down the next little corridor or alleyway. It was pretty impressive and great to see a turnout. There was a ton of people that were dressed up either manga, comic books, Star Wars related kind of stuff. It was really cool. All ages, fans, families like myself. It was just a really good time. And I will say, as long as the line appeared, it moved really swiftly, and some of the people that worked at the comic shop could not have been more friendly, just kind of encouraging us and telling us a little bit about the process. Really fun stuff. At any rate, before too long, we were right at the front, and they had this little pop-up canopy and a couple tables with all of the Free Comic Book Day books. They had just about everything that was listed on the Free Comic Book Day website, barring maybe one or two, and then they had a couple other older Comic Book Day freebie giveaways or just older comics that were on the table as well, and every person in line got to pick 10 of their choice, which was really fun. Now, ultimately, I did go ahead and make my selections. I did check the website earlier, so I was able to kind of sift through what I was looking for. It did take me a couple minutes, but it was a huge blast, and it was great seeing some of my family pick out comics as well. Once we made our selections, we went ahead and were kind of unleashed into this sort of parking lot / kind of outdoor vendor space. It felt like an outdoor maybe convention center or swap meet to a small degree, but I really liked it, and honestly, so many of the vendors were so friendly. One of our first stops was this one that sold like custom stickers and skate decks and enamel pins and so many things like that. My wife, myself, and one of my sons, we all got different stickers. Like I got a Wolverine one, my wife got some Star Wars ones, like some Ahsoka stickers, which were fun. Anyway, it was a real blast. Again, everyone was super friendly, but there were so many different vendors that sold all sorts of great fandom kind of gear. We had some people selling custom artwork and prints. We had some people doing, like slabbed comic books. We had a lot of action figures, loose action figures, retro video games. I saw some. It was just a really good time, we walked around kind of seeing who we would want to, spend on or kind of just want to browse. And, we made a couple purchases. And like I said, it was a really cool opportunity that this comic shop not only just did their shop, but had all these vendors. It just made it more of an event. And I really liked that. Now, speaking of the comic shop, Southern California Comics, I have been in here a few times, and like I said, it's a really cool store. Really enjoy it. This is the second time I've come out for Free Comic Book Day, so I went inside with my oldest son, and we kind of just perused. It was really busy, which I love to see. They had some great comic books under the glass case, and they had a whole wing of graphic novel collected editions, which is more my wheelhouse, so really like seeing that. The whole shop for graphic novels, I think, was 20% off, which was a great deal. But yeah, I really enjoyed looking around. It was a ton of fun being out there with my family, like I said. This was a quicker trip, and I do get the feeling that this shop specifically caters more towards single-issue fans. Their collection is just absolutely incredible. But even as someone who collects mostly collected editions, there was still a ton to behold. Walking out of the store, I was greeted by some live music. They did a ton of kind of medleys of different Star Wars and kind of super heroic stuff, which was fun for the event. When I came out, they were doing their version of Dance Dance by Fall Out Boy, which was a ton of fun too. Anyway, it was a really great time. We walked around the vendor space a little bit, got a couple things, and then we were off to our next stop. Our next and final stop was, of course, Knowhere Games and Comics, which is probably what I consider my local comic shop. This is a really, really great comic shop. I've come here for a ton of events, signings, things like that, and just a couple times on my free time just because I enjoy it. They not only have comic books, but they do a ton of like tabletop games, trading card games. They host a lot of different tabletop game nights, trading card game nights, comic book creator signings, things like that. They actually had a few creators here on the comic book day, which was fun to see. And they actually had the couple free comic books that I didn't see at the previous stop. So I was able to pick up just about everything I was hoping to this year, which was a huge win. I also picked up a couple just hardcover collections as well, which I'll get to. And I didn't really spend a ton of time here, but still had a great time. And now that we're done with our flyby tour of my free comic book day experience, let's go ahead and transition to my actual pickups. I will be showing you all the free comic books I picked up for myself, along with the hardcover editions I went ahead and bought from my LCS. And these are actually them right here. I know it's like a ton to just see all at once. Like I said, that first stop gave 10. The second shop was giving away 3, and then my wife and son let me, put a little bit with theirs as well. So I picked up a good amount. And then I got those hardcovers as well, which I'll go ahead and show at the very end of the video. But yeah, this is just a quick overview of my pickups. I have not had time to go through all of these, but I'm going to do a quick flip through, nothing too crazy, just so you can see sort of what you're getting here and just take a look at the art in case any of these issues or maybe the runs they represent are ones that you're interested in. I really just want to showcase some of these. I know some people maybe weren't able to pick up some of these or they're interested. So just, again, I wanted to showcase them. And plus, it was a fun little comic book based holiday. So, of course, I had to do some coverage. And just really quick, here are the 3 hardcovers I actually picked up for this day. I got the Action Comics Rebirth Deluxe Edition Volume 1 from Dan Jurgens. I did get that Superman Supercore, the Volume 1 of the Williamson run for DC that just came out recently. Really good. I did have an opportunity to read that. And then All-Star Batman Volume 1 by Scott Snyder and John Romita Jr. That was also, I believe, during the Rebirth era. Anyway, all 3 of these are titles I've been curious about that I did not have the chance to read before picking these up. So really excited. It was a buy 2 get 1 free deal, so that was also a huge incentive. Plus I wanted to support local, especially for hosting such a fun event like Free Comic Book Day. And now we'll go ahead and transition into those free comic book day comics I picked up. The first one I'm going to be talking about is Blood Hunt here from Marvel Comics. I will admit this was my #1 pickup I was hoping to snag. This is basically vampires take over the Marvel Universe. It's kind of a Marvel event. I'm not clear if this is in continuity or not. Either way, it sounds fun. It sounds a bit like this is Marvel's response to the DC versus vampires that happened over there in the last couple years. I still have to read that series as well. If you've read DC versus vampires and it was worth reading, let me know in the comments. But anyway, I heard about this event very briefly, and it was enough that I really wanted to check out the free issue. The art looks pretty solid, and I like to see all the different kind of characters they showcase in here. I just think it's really cool that they put this out for Free Comic Book Day. It definitely had its probably intended purpose, which was to market this event to me. I know this is one I want to look out for once it reaches collected edition. The next issue I picked up was the Star Wars Free Comic Book Day issue with that really cool cover of half Darth Vader, half Luke Skywalker. This was the Star Wars related Free Comic Book Day book that came out. I think because Free Comic Book Day coincided with May the 4th, I really wanted to go out of my way to try to pick up this book just because to help me remember the event. The fact that this happened on the same day and the fact that they did release a Star Wars issue for it, I really wanted to check it out. I loved the cover of this as well. Vader and Luke are some of my favorite Star Wars characters. Obviously, they're huge heavy hitters, and I just thought it was a really cool mashup just on that cover, and that alone was enough for me to want to pick it up. That and the fact, again, that it came out on Star Wars Day / Free Comic Book Day. But you can see the art here. It looks like there's a couple small stories here. I think I saw Charles Soule's name on this, which is an author I, of course, like. Anyway, really cool stuff here. Glad to see it during Free Comic Book Day. My next pickup was the Spider-Man Ultimate Universe kind of mashup comic they had here for Free Comic Book Day. I honestly don't know what the deal is with this comic, but it was enough that I was interested. I see Spidey right on the front of a Free Comic Book Day issue, and chances are I'm going to try to pick it up. I don't know if this has anything to do with the new universe they're coming out with, Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man that just came out, or the rest of the stuff they're doing over there. I'm definitely interested in checking out that series. But again, I'm not clear if this is related or not. I have not read read this issue. But flipping through, again, it's an example of I really like the art. I like to see some of the characters we have in this book, and I'm just excited. Again, another free issue, and this is definitely subject matter I am curious in, to say the least. Again, I think that the Hickman era Ultimate Spider-Man is probably the most noteworthy for this whole initiative, but anyway, I'm interested to see what this is about, and hopefully the rest of that Ultimate line that they've just brought back, is doing pretty good. I like their old ones, so we'll see. Okay, next free comic is the Energon Universe Free Comic Book Day book. I love the cover art, and actually the interior art is pretty striking as well. Now, I'll admit, I'm really not the biggest Transformers fan, but I know they're doing a ton with these properties recently. Same with, I believe, G.I. Joe. I think there's even crossover now. All I know is that Transformers comics are really getting a lot more buzz. I've been hearing it. It seems like they're more in the zeitgeist again. So I don't know if this is tied to some of that. Again, I'm a real kind of layman as far as the Transformers stuff goes. I really loved the toys. I was a huge fan of the toys. I watched some of Beast Wars, which I know is maybe in the Transformers universe, and some of those other spin-off shows. I've seen some of the movies. But the hardcore, like classic Transformers stuff, it kind of goes over my head, frankly. But I was interested. I loved the cover. Like I said, the art really grabbed me here, and I know that this is just another huge fandom. So I saw it, and I thought, you know what, I'll pick it up for Free Comic Book Day, and I was not disappointed. Next on our list, we have DC's Absolute Power, their Free Comic Book Day issue, and right from the jump, I will admit, I don't know enough about what's currently going on with DC Comics. I think this might be a new event. I feel like they've had so many recently, and I am several behind. I'm still making my way. I have to read Death Metal still. I'm however far back that is. So I know that we've had so many events recently as well, like Dark Crisis and Night Terrors and Dawn of DC, Dawn of Justice. I don't even know what they're called anymore. I'm so far behind. But anyway, this looks like an upcoming one, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that this Batman kind of robot, it might be Failsafe from Zdarsky's run. Anyway, looks interesting. I see Amanda Waller on the cover, and just flipping through, it definitely looks like something to watch out for. But again, you'll have to let me know with these really recent DC events that have been happening the last couple of years, what are really worth reading? What are worth skipping? Let me know in the comments. I do want to catch up, but I'm almost overwhelmed at how many DC events I'm behind on at this point. Okay, next up we have the Free Comic Book Day Maleficent issue from Dynamite. This was one I really wanted to check out. The first comic shop actually did not have this one, so I was super excited to see it at my LCS. I love that cover with Maleficent. I think it looks amazing. If I've never mentioned it on the channel, I am a huge Disney fan. Living in Southern California, Disneyland is just a staple whenever we can afford it. Anyway, I'm really, really invested in a lot of the intellectual property. I'm actually just starting to get into Lorcana a bit, that card game, for those familiar. Anyway, I saw Maleficent, and I thought that this would be a really fun pickup, so I was super happy to check it out. The art looks absolutely incredible, and I'd love to know more about the series they're doing over at Dynamite. It is surprising I don't see this more at Marvel, so I don't really know what's up with that. But anyway, really beautiful stuff here. I was so happy to pick it up. And hey, if you're still watching this video and you've yet to subscribe to the channel, I'd love to invite you to do so. I'm always doing special videos like this, comic book reviews, list videos, unboxings, things like that. Anyway, thanks so much for considering. Now let's keep it going. Flash! Ah! Okay, I'll spare you the rest of that, but this is the Flash Gordon Free Comic Book Day issue. This is another one I was really fascinated by. I'm definitely kind of pop culturally aware of Flash Gordon, though I've never really engaged in any of his whole world, whether it's a TV, movie, written stuff. I've never really been a part of it, but it's something I've always been really curious about. Definitely some cool creators on this book. The art looks fantastic, and the cover art I just thought was really striking. I thought that this was one that would be fun to pick up if I could find it, and I'm really happy that I did, and this is one that I actually hope to read through if I'm able to make the time, just because I'm curious about this whole world. I'd love to know a bit more, and I was really excited to see the comic shops actually carry this one. Really, really good stuff. Just going to show you a little bit more of it, and yeah, this is the Flash Gordon issue. Okay, this is one I was actively excited to check out. The Johnny Quest Free Comic Book Day issue. So another huge thing I'm a fan of is actually classic era cartoons. Anything from like the golden age of cartoons back in maybe the 30s all the way through maybe the 60s. I'm a huge fan of maybe 70s. To that end, of course, I'm a fan of Johnny Quest. When I found out they had an issue, I had to check it out. I actually, when I went to start my comic book channel, I almost started two different other channels first before landing on comic books. The first was actually going to be just a literary fiction novel kind of channel, just a straight up booktube channel, and the other would have been a vintage classic cartoon kind of review channel. And ultimately I landed on comic book collected editions, and now that I've done it for a few years, I have zero regrets. But that's all to say, I do love classic cartoons that much, so I was really elated to get this book. I got the last copy at that first stop. I actually don't even know if they had it at the second, so feeling really thankful I got this one, excited to see it, love the artwork. Okay, another one I was really excited to pick up, the Asterix Free Comic Book Day issue. I know I have a good handful of European watchers out there. Thank you all so much for watching. And I know several of you, not even Europe only, but I've had several people recommend Asterix to me. I would love to read more of this in the future, but hey, I finally got my first Asterix comic. Granted, it was free and it's this little sampler, but already I could tell this is something up my alley. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to just engage with it, kind of get the humor and kind of what endears so many people to these just classic characters at this point. Anyway, I thought this was really cool that they had it as part of Free Comic Book Day. I love kind of the starkness of the cover design, and I just think it was really a striking issue to pick up. And I love what looks like a good handful of stories in this. Like I said, it looks almost like newsprint kind of comic stories, but I can't wait to dive in. This looks like a ton of fun. If you are an Asterix fan out there, let me know in the comments. But yeah, I had to pick this one up. Okay, another pickup is the Popeye Free Comic Book Day issue. Like I said back with Johnny Quest, I am a huge fan of classic cartoons. Popeye is actually one of my favorites. So when I saw he was part of Free Comic Book Day, of course you knew I tried to pick it up, and here it is. Now, I did read some of this actually with my son the other night before bed, and I was really impressed to see how much this seems to be inspired by manga or anime. We have just some really epic, stylized action sequences. Even the main kind of villain in this issue feels very manga inspired, and I was really thrown by that a little bit, honestly. It was really interesting to see. The new art designs for all these characters like Popeye, Olive Oil, Bluto, really polished and interesting, but I just thought it was really striking. It looks really good. The long-term Popeye fan in me was kind of surprised by some of these creative choices, but it was great to see this done and to see it as part of Free Comic Book Day. Okay, the next free comic book I picked up is Arkham Asylum. I can't even get through that without laughing. I think that this is so clever and so fun. Of course, this is in the greater Batman universe. It's a play on Arkham Asylum, but starring a lot of pets, which was really fun to see. The artwork throughout it is also very cartoony, animated, and fun, and just really everything just jumps right off the page, and this just looked like fun hijinks that would be a really great free issue. I will say this issue and moving forward, I'm not sure if these free comics were part of this year's Free Comic Book Day, perhaps an older year's Free Comic Book Day. I'm not totally clear. I know some of the issues coming up here are not new, are not part of this year's event. I'm not sure about this one, but I thought I would showcase these other free issues nonetheless, because one of my shops did go ahead and put these on the free table. But yeah, Arkham Asylum, I just thought the premise was just hysterical. I love seeing just these animals playing in Gotham. Really fun stuff. The next free comic I got is this War of Kings saga issue. It does have a wraparound cover, which is really exciting. And I recognize this because this is a cover to the War of Kings omnibus, which I actually don't have yet. I need to collect the rest of that cosmic modern saga over at Marvel Comics. Right now I only have the Annihilation omnibus, but maybe one day. Anyway, it did catch my eye because I recognize this cover, and flipping through it, it looks really interesting. It looks like it's telling us a little bit of a story, giving greater context in the cosmic Marvel universe. And like I said, I'm a sucker for this cover, and I like a lot of the characters that are involved here. And hey, if you're a fan of War of Kings, let me know in the comments. Do I need to read War 2 War of Kings before reading this omnibus? Anyway, let me know. I think this one might still be in print. But for right now, at least I got this cool free issue. Next issue I picked up is Batman Word to the Wise. This appears to just be an issue of Batman comics. I'm not really familiar with it. It is definitely a little bit older, but I saw the Joker in it. I saw Batman on the cover, and it just looked fun. I didn't have all my issues, and we had an extra spot, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Flipping through, I'm not sure when I'm going to get to this, but it's just fun to have a little bit of an older Batman comic. I know it's still pretty contemporary, but, you know, a lot of my Batman stuff is a little bit more modern. So it was fun to just see this issue out and about. I thought, like I said, I'd pick it up. If anyone has any idea what the whole storyline here is, let me know. But yeah, I just picked it up. I really like the cover, seeing Batman and the Joker and just the symbol of the bat. I am a huge Batman fan, so this was cool. It was cool to get another Batman comic for Free Comic Book Day. Don't really have a ton else to say about this one. Next, I went ahead and got this Miss Marvel issue 1 for Free Comic Book Day. This is another one that I don't think that this was for this event. It's still clearly a promotional issue of some kind, but I have never really read this issue all the way through, and I thought it just was fun. It's definitely a cover I recognize. I'm not sure if this is the first appearance of Miss Marvel or what, but love the art inside of it. The just imagery is beautiful. The kind of dreamy looking style of this art is really just breathtaking. I know that this is a run or a character I want to be more familiar with. I know I missed out on the omnibus when it was in print, but maybe in the future I could read through this series. Let me know if I have any Miss Marvel fans out there. I've definitely encountered her in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the television, the Marvel's movie. And I've seen her show up in different comics, but I have never read her solo stuff. So anyway, I got this free issue and thought I'd check it out. Okay, and the last of the free comics for me this year, Mouse Guard. It is a little digest-sized hardcover book, which is fun. It's a pretty quick little zippy book here. I really like the art in this as well. Mouse Guard was a title that seemed familiar to me, though I don't think I've ever read this. But like I said, a little small hardcover book as a free comic book day book. I was just like, sign me up. I got to check it out. I love the format. It was actually really well made for just such a tiny hardcover. And like I said, I think the art looks really fun. I don't know if anyone knows anything about this property or this title. I'd be curious in the comments. But yeah, it was enough that it was something different. It really caught my eye, so I went ahead and put it with my lot for Free Comic Book Day. Actually, maybe with my wife. I'm not sure. Anyway, like I said, I got a little bit more than 10 at that first stop because my wife and son had a little bit of extra space. So I went ahead and got this. Okay, transitioning away from the free comics and moving toward the 3 hardcovers I picked up from my local comic shop. The first one I'll look at is the All-Star Batman Volume 1 by Scott Snyder and John Romita Jr. This is a title I have heard about just only casually, and it's so funny to me because I'm such a huge fan of that main Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, New 52 Batman era that I'm surprised I haven't read some of Scott Snyder's follow-up Batman stuff. Like, I still haven't read Batman Eternal. And then this is another title I believe during the Rebirth era with Scott Snyder that I have not really checked out. I know that this first volume deals with a Two-Face story. I've had it recommended by someone who watched this channel, so if that's you, chime in again, because you were probably one of my main motivators here. But I heard that this story was good. I don't know. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited to give it a shot. John Romita Jr. is definitely a prolific comic book illustrator. I'm really hit and miss with some of his stuff just personally. I sometimes can't decide if he's my style or not. I've really recently enjoyed what he did on Superman Year 1 over at DC, and then his Captain America run with Rick Remender over at Marvel, which I'm still making my way through. I've really loved his pencil work with that. I'm a huge fan of, obviously, Frank Miller, Daredevil's The Man Without Fear that he did pencils for. So anyway, I'm hit and miss with this, but so far flipping through, the art looks fantastic. So I'm really excited to see what these two can bring to a Batman book. But if you've read All-Star Batman, let me know. Should I have my hopes up? Should I really maybe go in with the more even expectations? Anyway, let me know, and who knows, you might see a full review of this coming in the future. Okay, the next pickup I had was Superman Supercore by Joshua Williamson. This is part of that new Dawn of DC era. At the time of the recording, this collection actually just came out not too long ago, but I've heard resoundingly great things about this Superman run. Clark Kent is back as Superman, he's back from Warworld, and he's here to save the day. And I was really excited to pick this up. I'm still reading the Warworld saga, but I've heard really good things, like I said, about the launch of this run. I am a fan of Joshua Williamson. I've really enjoyed what I've read from him in the past overall, and this one really didn't disappoint. I will say I got this yesterday at the time of the recording. I read it all last night. I couldn't put this thing down. I really loved it. So this is another one you'll probably see a review for on my channel in the coming weeks. If you are interested, make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell notification so you're notified. But yeah, I really loved this. I think it's a great modernization of the Superman character. He feels relevant again. He feels accessible. Like I said, there's a lot of modern flourishes in this book that feel like societally, like, hey, this is a Superman for the 21st century, but it still really upholds a lot of that goodness of character that just makes him feel like that boy from Smallville that we know and love. The big blue Boy Scout. Really just dig it. I think Williamson absolutely understands this character. I love so far how he appears to be utilizing Lex Luthor as well. I'm a huge fan of that character. His Lois Lane also, of course, has a lot of agency. Love Lois. Love their marriage. Love what we get here with this run so far. It's just been fun. Like, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's just high-flying adventure, and it reminds me so much what I love about Superman. It has a lot of heart. The art is just absolutely astounding. It feels kind of animated in its way. Every panel, man, everything just jumps right from the page. A really good run. Can't wait to review it in full. Okay, and last but certainly not least, from my free comic book day pickups, the Action Comics Rebirth Deluxe Edition Book 1 hardcover. This is an oversized hardcover collection, I'm happy to say. It does have glossy print paper stock, and it reminds me of my Batman Rebirth Deluxe Edition and my Flash Rebirth Deluxe Edition. Again, really a great format. I wish we got so many more of these to collect more of that era. But anyway, this is a run I've been curious about pretty recently, actually. I know that this is the run, I believe, that was going in tandem with Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason's run on Superman. So this is the other major Superman book at the time, of course, being Action Comics. And I've heard good things about this. Dan Jurgens is a writer I've always wanted to read more from. Haven't really had a lot of opportunity to do so in the past. And I heard pretty good things about this. I am still making my way through that Superman run from Tomasi and Gleason. I have the omnibus. But I don't think this Action Comics run has an omnibus yet. They just have a couple of these hardcovers. So I was excited to see this. Like I said, I've got the buy two, get one free deal over my LCS. So I'm excited to just jump in. The artists we have throughout this book, just flipping through, look incredible. I really like the art we have here. A couple of the characters that look like they pop up, just again flipping through right now, are some of my favorite in Superman's lore. So I'm sure I'm going to like this. But let me know, have you read Dan Jurgens' Action Comics? Is this something I should be excited for as well? I'm not sure when I'm going to get to this. Like I said, I'm still going through War World and that other Superman run. So this one might be, I don't know if it'll be backburnered for too long because I am so curious about it. But now it's in the collection, and hopefully I can make it through in the rotation. I do, like I said, love these Rebirth Deluxe editions. I wish we got more of them, and I was really elated to see this at the comic shop. I saw it and I thought, this is a pretty good pickup. So here we go. Okay, and just like that, these were my pickups for Free Comic Book Day / May the 4th, 2024. I had such a blast going out with my family. A big thank you to Southern California Comics and Knowhere Games and Comics for hosting Free Comic Book Day. I know that that's not a free day for you guys, but hopefully people bought local. I know I really enjoyed supporting where I could here. I had so much fun, like I said. It was great to just be out there with so many other like-minded comic book fans and people just trying to have a good time. These, like I said, I was really thankful to get all these free books. I feel certainly super grateful. And I was really happy to find those hardcover editions. Like I said, these are some DC books I've been curious about for a while, so I'm excited to dig in. In the comments, let me know, did you celebrate Free Comic Book Day? If so, what were your pickups? If not, do any of these books look interesting to you? Have you read those hardcover collections I had? Let me know about that. Let me know if you'd like to see a review of those. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'll be back with more list videos, top 10s, comic book reviews shortly. But until next time, this has been The Comic Book Report. Please don't forget to give this video a like, a comment, and maybe share it with a friend. Thanks so much. Have a good one.